Squid Game has returned for its final season, and it's safe to say that the conclusion was one of the most emotional endings we could have hoped for. The childhood games many of us played when we were young, games that once seemed simple and consequence-free, have now been combined with the most brutal consequence of all, death. The series took something ordinary and turned it into a deadly challenge where the smallest mistake can cost you everything. Today, I want to walk you through every new game featured in Season 3 and rank them from worst to best. So, let's get started. Game 1, Hide and Seek. The first game in Season 3 revisited a childhood classic that many of us know well, Hide and Seek, but with a horrifying and lethal twist unique to Squid Game. The setup began with players gathering around a large container filled with red and blue balls. Each player reached in to randomly draw a ball, which immediately determined their fate. Drawing a blue ball meant you were assigned to the hiding team, donning a blue vest, with the mission to evade detection at all costs. Those who drew red balls became seekers, wearing red vests, and were tasked with hunting down the blue players to eliminate them. The battleground was a massive, intricate maze, sprawling with twisting corridors, dead ends, and confusing turns. This complex layout made it incredibly challenging for the players to maintain a sense of direction or recall where they had spotted other players. The maze was designed not just as a physical challenge but also as a psychological trap, fostering paranoia and fear. To level the playing field, the seekers were each equipped with a sharp blade, a deadly tool allowing them to dispatch blue players swiftly upon contact. This weapon made encounters extremely dangerous for the hiders, who had to rely on stealth and strategy to survive. On the other hand, the hiders were given keys shaped like circles, triangles, or squares. These keys could unlock specific doors scattered throughout the maze, granting them additional hiding places and pathways. However, the doors only opened if the correct key was used, forcing the hiders to pay close attention to their surroundings and collaborate. The ultimate goal for the hiding team was to survive a full 30 minutes without being found to advance to the next stage of the competition. But there was a hidden twist. A secret door buried deep within the maze led to a sanctuary, a safe refuge from the relentless seekers. To open this door, the players needed to collect all 3 types of keys, a feat impossible without cooperation. This introduced a profound element to the game. Despite the natural tendency towards selfishness and self-preservation, players were compelled to work together, emphasizing the vital importance of teamwork in the face of dire circumstances. This game was not only a physical challenge but also a study of human behavior under extreme pressure. The brutal reality of the stakes was crystal clear. Survival depended on trust, alliances, and sacrifice. One of the most heart-wrenching moments came when Yeonyu, a player on the hiding team, was killed by Moni, a seeker. This event underscored the game's merciless nature and the personal cost of betrayal and desperation. In conclusion, Hide and Seek was a tense and gripping game, full of suspense and emotional weight. It laid bare how far people are willing to go when their lives hang in the balance, delivering a powerful message about humanity's darkest and most vulnerable facets. Game 2, Jump Rope. The second game introduced in Season 3 was a deadly twist on the childhood classic Jump Rope. What seemed like a simple and familiar game was transformed into a heart-pounding test of endurance, agility, and survival under extreme pressure. The setting was a long, narrow bridge designed to resemble a railway track, suspended high above a deadly drop. The bridge itself was unstable in parts, with several large gaps or holes cut out, forcing players not only to jump over the swinging rope but also to carefully time their steps to avoid falling through these openings. The rope was enormous, thick and heavy, held at each end by 2 massive dolls named Yang and Kolyu, whose lifeless eyes scanned the bridge as the rope swung rhythmically back and forth. The dolls' mechanical movements set the pace, but unlike previous games like red light, green light, there was no predetermined order in which the players had to cross. This lack of structure meant chaos and confusion quickly erupted. Players were lined up along the bridge, and those at the front had a clear advantage, able to jump over the rope with plenty of time to spare. But those farther back faced increasing pressure as their time to finish diminished rapidly. The swinging rope's pace increased, the clock ticked down, and the tension soared. To make matters worse, some players, gripped by fear and desperation, refused to advance. They froze or blocked the path, unwilling to risk a misstep or fall. This forced others behind them to jump in place repeatedly, struggling to maintain their balance and stamina while waiting for an opening. The atmosphere was thick with panic and urgency. The game exposed the raw and selfish instincts of humanity at its most desperate. Some players, in a ruthless bid to survive, pushed and shoved their way forward, literally knocking others down to get ahead, showing just how quickly survival instincts can override decency. Amidst this chaos, one of the most powerful and heartbreaking moments unfolded. Jang Geum, a player with a fractured ankle, found herself unable to keep pace. With the clock running out and no hope that anyone would wait for her, she made a harrowing decision. Knowing that her baby's survival depended on someone making it across, she chose to sacrifice herself. Instead of being eliminated by another player or succumbing to the deadly fall, Jang Geum jumped off the bridge on her own terms, choosing death to give her child a fighting chance. This selfless act of love and courage stood out as one of the most emotionally gripping moments of the entire season. In summary, the jump rope game combined physical challenge, psychological pressure, and raw human drama. It was a vivid reminder of how quickly hope can turn into despair, and how, even in the darkest moments, sacrifice and love can shine through. Game 3, Squid Game in the Sky. As the climactic finale of Season 3, the Squid Game demanded an ultimate test of strategy, courage, and human nature. This final challenge was designed not only to push the players physically but to expose the deepest moral conflicts and raw instincts that define humanity under extreme pressure. The stage was set high above the ground, a precarious platform divided into 3 separate sections, each marked by one of the iconic Squid Game symbols: a circle, a triangle, and a square. Players were assigned across these platforms, isolated but linked by the shared urgency of survival. A countdown clock, limited to just 15 minutes, began ticking the moment a button on the floor was pressed, changing its color from red to green. This timer was relentless, amplifying the tension and forcing players into split-second decisions. The deadly twist: to advance and survive, at least one player from each platform had to be killed and thrown off the edge before the timer expired. Failure to meet this gruesome quota meant that all players would perish together, the entire group's fate tied to their willingness to kill. This brutal setup revealed the spectrum of human nature in stark contrast. On one side, Player 100 and his allies demonstrated the darkest aspects of survival, showing no hesitation in plotting to sacrifice even the innocent, including a defenseless baby, to secure their share of the prize. Their cold calculations laid bare the depths of greed and cruelty some were willing to descend to. In the midst of this, Manyi's shocking willingness to kill his own child to claim the reward marked one of the darkest moments of the entire season, exposing a level of desperation and moral decay that stunned everyone watching. Yet, amidst this darkness, the game also highlighted acts of profound humanity and hope. Seong Ji-hyun fulfilled his heartfelt promise to protect the baby, choosing self-sacrifice over survival. His decision symbolized the endurance of innocence and compassion even in the bleakest circumstances, offering a powerful counterpoint to the surrounding brutality. The Squid Game in the Sky was the season's most thrilling and emotionally charged game, combining heart-pounding action with deeply moving human drama. It provided a fitting and unforgettable conclusion to the season, reminding viewers that even in a world designed to destroy, hope and sacrifice can still prevail. In my opinion, the best game was Squid Game in the Sky due to its tension and emotional depth. Next was Jump Rope, which was entertaining and dramatic, and finally Hide and Seek, which was the most brutal but less engaging for me. What about you? Which game was your favorite in Season 3? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching this full breakdown of Season 3's games. Don't forget to check out our Season 2 analysis and finale explanation. See you in the next video.